guys will start in 2 minutes. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to day 2 of our workshop on systematic reviews and meta-analysis. On behalf of the Research and Publication Office at Cairo University, thank you for your active participation yesterday. As a reminder, we covered the fundamentals of systematic reviews. What are they, what they are, and why they are at the top of the evidence hierarchy, and how they use clinical trials results as a samples. And also, we also discussed where to find literature, how to screen studies, and the basics of data extraction. Today, we will go deeper, focusing on practical tools and skills to apply what we have learned. Also, we discover what mean of meta-analysis and how implement it. This workshop comes from our strategic partnership with Nibras Academy, founded by Dr. Muhammad, our speakers today. And we are proud to work together to build research capacity in Sudan and beyond. Before starting, I want to draw your attention that all certificates will be issued to selected participants. Also, all your questions will be addressed and welcomed. And please don't make language to be a barrier. Our team is here to you. With that, let's get started. The stage is yours, Dr. Muhammad.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I hope you are doing well. Thank you so much, Dr. Anas. And I'm grateful to Research and Publication Office, Korea University, and the Dental Alumni, and all the team behind this amazing workshop. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, participants, as well, for their active participation. In yesterday session, we discussed basis of systematic review and meta-analysis. We discussed different steps, and we discussed screening, data extraction, protocol registration, topic selection. Today we'll start by revising few of the previous concepts. We'll take questions and answers side by side, and we'll take questions and answers at the end as well. So keep asking the questions whenever you are stuck anywhere and you didn't get my point. So we discussed the hierarchy of evidence. We discussed why meta-analysis and systematic reviews are at the top of evidence hierarchy. We discussed different study designs. We discussed the differences and definitions of systematic review, that it has a focused research question, it has a predefined inclusion and exclusion criteria, and I hope you are now familiar with all these terms. What I mean by inclusion exclusion criteria, comprehensive search strategy, and transparency and reproducibility of a systematic review and meta-analysis. We discussed examples, then we discussed meta-analysis. Meta-analysis is an optional part of systematic review in which we use statistical methods to combine the data from multiple studies and estimates the overall effect sizes. Uh, it increases the power, it resolves uncertainties, conflicts, and we get quantitative summary. Wa alaikum salam, Dr. Basma. And then we discussed the hierarchy. We discussed types of different reviews, like we have traditional reviews, these are narrative and literature reviews. And of these, having focused and narrow research questions, focusing on clinical outcomes, that's systematic review. And meta-analysis is an optional part of systematic reviews, having statistical interpretation and involving numbers. Then discuss the systematic review process, the differences between literature review and systematic review, meta-analysis. Again, the differences, we discussed a lot of questions, different trials, and what to do when the trials are equally having strong methodologies, and then how will reach the conclusion that which drugs to be used in the patient. So we discussed that as well, different steps, why to conduct a meta-analysis, to find the research gaps, to compile the information, to get the single line answers, and to resolve discrepancies, resolve conflicts. Well, it's the basis of evidence-based medicine, and it helps to change the policies, identify research gaps, and the key features like reproducible methodology, identify all the studies using predefined inclusion exclusion criteria, and a detailed search strategy for all databases. And there are quantitative methods to quantify the bias involving the systematic reviews. Benefits of meta-analysis, limitations of meta-analysis, garbage in and garbage out. We have heterogeneity, discussed these. Then there are steps in conducting systematic reviews and meta-analysis. We discussed research question formation, topic selection, developing a protocol, and then conducting a comprehensive literature search. And then we discussed inclusion and exclusion criteria, and assess the quality of the studies, extracting the data. Today we'll discuss the study selection process, assessing the quality of the studies and extracting and analyzing the data. And we'll synthesize the findings, the manuscript writing of meta-analysis and interpretation of results, and the submission process as well. In topic selection, we discussed that it's a single most crucial step. The topic should be novel, interesting, and clinically relevant. We discussed a question in which you all guys rejected this high impact articles because it lacked novelty. Then we discussed the basis or formulating the research question. Then we discussed. So today we'll start from here. Here is another pictorial representation of evidence of hierarchy. So you can see we have background information and expert opinions at the bottom of this. Then we have case series and case reports. These are subjective things, and they involve no methodology, so they are not reliable, not reproducible. They don't have any explicit methodology. Then we had case control studies. These were not randomized, and these were retrospectives. Then we have prospective cohort studies. They were again not randomized. And then we had randomized control trials. And today we'll learn that mom's advice is at the top of evidence hierarchy after above all systematic reviews and meta-analysis. We'll start today's lecture, inshallah, from here. Okay, this was just a revision, so that's why I was speaking rapidly to cover all the things from basics that we discussed yesterday. So from here, we'll discuss today's session, inshallah. So that would be slow, and anywhere you can stop me, you can keep me slow, and you can ask questions wherever you get stuck. So we discussed the basis of topic selection, how we'll select a topic, we'll identify an area of interest, then we'll select a disease, then we'll read up all available treatments on that disease. Like you want to become a cardiologist and you're interested in different treatment options for heart failure. So you read up all available treatments. I will discuss an example in the upcoming slides. We'll select a treatment, we'll start reading about that, we'll ultimately reach a gap, and we'll formulate our research question that's discussing that gap. And if it's a feasible topic, feasibility means having plenty of clinical trials and no systematic review and meta-analysis. Because if there are already systematic reviews and meta-analysis on that topic, that would be a repetition and it will not get even published. So if the topic is feasible, we'll move towards the literature search. If topic is not feasible, we will start over from selecting the disease, selecting area of interest, from anywhere till we get a feasible topic. We discussed what is an area of interest. The area of interest is something that align with your research interests and it's of clinical significance and it's related to stakeholders like the users of meta-analysis. The users of meta-analysis are clinicians that they decide the treatment options on the basis of these studies for the patients, and the policymakers make policies depending upon these, and the manufacturer, pharmaceutical companies, and all of these are affected by this meta-analysis. So these are users of meta-analysis. We it should be relevant to these. We cannot do a meta-analysis on a drug that is discontinued 20 years ago because it's of no use in today's era. So if we do a meta-analysis today on that drug, uh, I think that would be something to get into a dustbin beside instead of getting it published in a journal because the topic is dead, the disease is gone. So it should be related to physicians, clinicians, scientists, patients, and policymakers. The mentors should be available in that era. The mentor could be the person having clinical expertise and who knows the research methodology as well. So you can have a person with both expertise, having clinical knowledge and methodological knowledge as well. The area of interest could be the field you want to pursue, and a lot of new clinical data is available. It could be cardiology, it could be neurology, it could be gastroenterology, and it could be hematology and oncology, and anything you want to become in the future. That could be your area of interest. Uh, we discussed an example yesterday as well from cardiology, like you want to become a cardiologist and you encounter a lot of diseases like coronary heart disease, arrhythmias, valvular diseases, aortic and heart failure. So I'm interested in heart failure and its treatment. So I get into it. I read different treatment options like ACE, ARBs, beta blockers, SGLT2 inhibitors, diuretics, digoxin. So I came to know that these are in trending and a lot of new drugs are being developed and a lot of clinical trials are there. So I have multiple options and then I focused on specific safety and efficacy of that drug. So that could be my topic. For that, like this is how we formulate a topic. We narrowed down from a vast and very broad topic to a very specific topic that is feasible, and we can conduct a meta-analysis on that. So this is an example how we'll formulate our research question, how we will define our population intervention, comparison, and outcomes. Uh, then we discussed how we'll develop a protocol. We have discussed it earlier yesterday. The literature search, one of the most important thing, you will at least search two databases according to Cochrane collaboration. It is recommended to search at least two different sources for the data. So we have most popular PubMed, then we have Cochrane library, then we have Scopus, we have MBase. You might have heard their names. We have Clinical Trial Directory of US, that is clinicaltrials.gov. Then we have Web of Science and Google Scholar, the most famous, but it's not a database, it's a search engine. All of these are databases. They have certain standards for indexing of articles, and they don't publish the gray literature, the non-peer reviewed articles. So this is one of the biggest databases having millions of citations. Then we have Cochrane Library, then we have Scopus. So we can use these two databases for most of our meta-analysis. But if we have an access to Scopus and MBase, because these two databases are paid, and if we have access to these databases, we can use these. If we don't have access to these, we can use clinical trials, Cochrane, PubMed, these three databases. We can also use Google Scholar for checking the feasibility, for searching lay literature, and searching unpublished and the literature that is not properly peer reviewed, but it's on Google Scholar. We discussed the screening after we are done with searching different databases. Let's suppose we searched 4 databases and we got 1,000 articles from one database, that's from PubMed. We got 500 articles from clinical trials. We got 200 articles from the Cochrane. So this becomes 1,700 plus articles. So all of these articles are not relevant to our topic, nor they should be included in our meta-analysis. Most of them are irrelevant. Some of the articles might be duplicates. So we have a process called screening, in which we will remove the duplicates. We will read their titles and abstracts. Idris, in today's era, topics related to artificial intelligence are very feasible. You can simply go to the New England Journal of Medicine. The latest clinical trials are ready-made topics for your meta-analysis. I discussed this thing in yesterday's lecture. So screening, in which we'll identify the studies. We have identified studies from different databases like PubMed, Cochrane, clinical trials, and Google Scholar, you can say. And then we will import all these articles into like Zotero, EndNote, or some Ryan. That's an artificial intelligence software. ISA, these are not websites. Firstly, these are databases. A database is a collection of huge collection of thousands of journals. So we don't need to search individual journals. I was talking about journals that we need to search uh, journals in order to check the feasibility, to check the new clinical trials published on that, to check the feasibility of a topic. Like if we are searching or hunting for a new topic, we can go to the journals. The clinical trials published on these journals could be your topics for meta-analysis. But if when you will search the literature, you will search PubMed, you will search Cochrane, you will search clinical trials, and you will search MBase. You will search at least two databases. Okay. In the screening section, first we will remove the duplicates. This is called deduplication. It's quite possible that the articles we are getting from different databases might be available on other database as well. So that would be duplicate. So first step would be removing these duplicates. We can use any software for that. We can use say reference management software like EndNote, like Zotero. We can use screening softwares like Ryan. We can use Covidence as well. Covidence is paid, but Ryan is a free tool. After we are done with removing duplicates, like we got 1700 articles and we removed 1200 duplicates. Now we have 500 articles. We will read up their titles and abstracts. This is called primary screening. In primary screening, we don't give any reason for exclusion. We just see that read the title. If title has terms related to our population, our intervention, our outcomes are there, and it's it's relevant and it's fulfilling the inclusion and exclusion criteria. So that would be included and go into the secondary screening. Like we read these articles and 400 articles were irrelevant. Now we have 100 articles that will go into secondary screening. In secondary screening, we will read up their full texts. So the relevant articles that we screen in primary screening, we have 100 articles that are in secondary screening now. So we will read full articles. By a full text mean their full PDFs. Will try to retrieve their full text. If the full texts are relevant, are fulfilling our inclusion and exclusion criteria that we decided first, and it has all the terms like it's fulfilling population, intervention, comparison, all the things are same, then it's our feasible topic. Then these studies will go into the data extraction, the next step. We'll read up their full text. If the full text are not available, we will exclude these studies. Let's suppose we had studies, we didn't get full text of 50 studies. 50 studies would be screened like their full text, and we will give reasons for exclusion. We don't give reasons for exclusion in primary screening, but we have to give reasons why we excluded this study from the data extraction. We have to give the reason. So ultimately, we will get like 10, 12 studies that would go into the data extraction, and that will be a part of our meta-analysis. So this is how we searched for databases. We get hundreds of articles, we screened, and ultimately we got the related articles. So it's a teamwork and a big project. There are tips for reducing bias, like according to Cochrane collaborations for systematic review, at least two independent reviewers should be doing screening, should be doing primary and secondary screening. And if they are if they have any discrepancies, they would consult a third independent reviewer. Yes, there is no sound. Are you with me till now? Let me know in the chat box if you're with me till now, because we have just revised everything. Let me know in the chat box fast. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. We have 6, 7 replies till now. Everyone, please. Yes, yes, we are now. Let's move forward. Let's move forward. We have some different tools for screening that we will be using. Like there's tool like we have Ryan. This is a web-based tool that uses artificial intelligence. So this is very smart way for screening. It automatically detects duplicates and you can work collaboratively as a team here. So this is an excellent tool. And first, one of the most important features that it has a lot of free features, so you don't need to pay anything. Then you have a more traditional or conventional tool uh, that is Zotero. So you can do screening, deduplication from Zotero as well. Then you have EndNote, but EndNote has a subscription, so it's a paid software, but it's a good way if you want to screen like traditionally without using any web-based artificial intelligence software. Then we had old traditional ways like screening on Microsoft Excel sheets, then screening on Google Sheets. So I have given my user rating to all these tools. Like I strongly prefer and encourage to use Ryan for primary screening, for deduplication. I use Zotero as well, but it has a limited like options and not very attractive. It's user experience, so you can use Ryan. It's free of cost and it's very flexible software. Then we have EndNote. EndNote is a good software as well, but it's paid. Then we have very traditional ways that are these are not even recommended. Then I use Google Sheets for screening. This is an excellent tool that you can work together as a team on Google Sheets. So I will show you the sheet for secondary screening as well. Then we have data extraction. So the next step would be the data extraction. We got 1,700 articles and we reached 10 to 12 articles that are included in our meta-analysis and we want to extract their data. So which things we will be extracting from these? We will not read all the papers all the time. We will take few things that are related to our research question. We will extract these and then we will be analyzing the data, this data on the let's suppose we have this research question on safety and efficacy of empagliflozin in patients with heart failure with reduced ejection fraction, a systematic review and meta-analysis. So we will extract the information regarding the study to keep a better record of the study. We will extract study characteristics and the baselines of the patients. By baseline, I mean the data of patients before starting the treatment so that we can have an idea of the change and we will extract the outcome data. Every paper that you will be including in your meta-analysis will be having all this information. So you will be extracting much of the information given in the tables, given in the figures. You will not read all everything like introduction, discussion. You will just look at the tables and methodology of each paper that will be included. In study information, we will extract author information, year of publication, journal, DOI, etc. to have a better record and to avoid a repetition of an article. In the baseline characteristics, we will extract number of patients in both groups, treatment, control, dose, route of administration, and the data prior to the treatment, like everything in the baselines. There would be a lot of tables. Then we will finally extract the data related to the outcomes like adverse effects, systemic adverse effects, and severe adverse effects, and improvement in the functions. Like we will be having a lot of data. This is an example of data extraction sheet, like which variables should be extracted. We have extracted the study information like the year of study ID, authors' first names, and then we have year of publication in that column, and then the study design, the location of the clinical trial. So this is information related to the clinical trial, study characteristics. And then we have the number of patients in each group. Then we extracted the information about the gender, like how many patients were male and female in each study. So that this row represents one study, the next row represents the next study. So that this is all the data that we will need for meta-analysis. We will not read all the studies all the time. Just we will extract the data once, and then we will use this data. This is the baseline characteristics like the patient's BMI, the existing conditions like these were related to our paper. So in the paper you will be doing will have all these things like medical history, like the lab values before prior to the treatment. So we have extracted these values only. You can see we have extracted a lot of numbers. These numbers will be used for analysis, used for uh, making new hypotheses. This is the sheet for outcomes, like which outcomes we will be extracting and how we will extract these data. You can see we have again extracted the data in the form of study ID so that we are not mixing up the data of different studies, then year of publication. When sometimes we can have same author's name, but the different year is used to differentiate between two different articles. Then number of patients, then doses. You can see this is an outcome sheet. This is for safety outcomes. So any adverse event. We have two types of outcomes. One are dichotomous outcomes. These are usually reported in the form of events and total. Dichotomous are binary mean outcomes having one of the two possibilities. Like if we talk in the form of what is the probability of like we had 100 patients, 100 patients, and 10 of them died at the course of the treatment. So what are events? We have 10 mortalities over 100 mortalities. So 10 is the event and 100 is the total. But if we have range like the time in hospital stay. So this is a time. So it will have a value like 2.3 days. It could be 4.5 days, 5 months. It will be a value ranging from into, it could be a minus, it could be zero, and it would be not a whole number like events and total. It will have a mean value and then it will have a standard deviation. So outcomes that are reported in the form of events and total are called dichotomous outcomes, and outcomes reported in the form of range, mean, and standard deviation. These outcomes are called continuous outcomes. So this is the data. The safety outcomes are usually reported in the form of events and totals. So this is a dichotomous or binary data. We will discuss in the analysis portion as well why we need to extract the data in this format, because it's usually given in that format. Any adverse events, 18 people got any adverse event out of 21 in first study. We have extracted all the data. This data is given in the form of table. So we did not generated this data. We just extracted this from all the papers, and we have outcomes that have same format, and that they report the data in same similar format. And again, we have these dichotomous outcomes in the form of events and totals. Then this is the sheet for continuous outcome. You can see we have data, again, the study ID, number of patients, doses. Then this is the data from tag, increase in percent amount of tag from baseline, ApoC3, VLDL, LDL, non-HDL. So this is difference in percentage change from baseline in our treatment and control group. So this was a single arm meta-analysis. That's why you can see only single arm, like the mean value, standard deviation, and number of patients in one group only. If we had a comparative meta-analysis, we will have like the data in the format of events and a mean, standard deviation, and number of patients for both groups. So you can see these are my negative and positive value. They hold any value and they are not whole number. They have standard deviation as well. So these are continuous outcomes. We use different models for analysis and we interpret them differently. And we extract them differently as well. We will make 4 columns for dichotomous outcomes and we'll make 6 columns for continuous outcome in the data extraction sheet for each outcome. Then which tools are used for data extraction? Google Sheets is an amazing tool for that. We use Zotero for that as well. And we have some older tools like Microsoft Excel and Microsoft Word. So this is my user rating for different tools. And that. So you can combine these two tools. This is the combo for data extraction. Like you can annotate the data, you can highlight the data in Zotero, read up the full text, and then extract all this into the Google Sheet so that your team can do the data extraction as well. Data extraction is one of the most difficult and tedious tasks. It takes a lot of data, it laid a lot of time and a lot of like expertise are required. You have to deal with a lot of things while doing that. The data extraction, the data should be very precise and it should reflect the papers that you have included. Like you will not write the data from yourself or generate or fabricate this data. You will just extract from that. Sometimes you might have to perform some conversions. Like there is an excellent tool. This is called Meta Converter. You can use this tool to convert the values. Sometimes the data is not given in the form of mean and standard deviation. So there are a lot of calculators, a lot of calculations. So you can use this Meta Converter. This is a web-based tool and this is very easy for conversions. Like we don't have to do manually. It automatically does everything. So if you have values that are not given in the form of mean and standard deviation, like it's given in the form of median and interquartile range, median and range, and it's given in the form of standard median and standard error. So we need the data in the form of mean and standard deviation to perform an analysis on Review Manager or RevMan. That's why we extract this way. So let me know, are you with me till now in the chat box? And if you have any queries, let me know in the chat box till now as well. I am just getting 4 to 5 responses. Everyone, please let me know in the chat box if you're with me. Yes, of course. I'm repeating that. Meta Converter is a web-based tool. It's a website. Like it's not an app, it's a website, Meta Converter, and it is also called Meta Accelerator. So you will be using when you have to do a lot of conversions. So you guys will be using this tool. Okay, let's move forward. So how we will assess the quality of the studies? By assessing the quality of the study, I mean the defects in the studies, like there is no randomization, no reports about there is a missing data in the studies. So these are inherent defects in the studies. If any study, yes, methods of randomization as well. If the method of randomization is explicitly mentioned in the paper, then it's not a bias, it's not a weakness, it's a strength. But if method of randomization if is not given, then there might arise some concerns regarding the randomization of that. There are some tools that are used to assess the risk of bias in different types of studies. Uh, if the included studies are randomized controlled trials, we will use Cochrane tool risk of bias tools. Like there is a long list of tools that is used for different types of studies. If the included studies are randomized controlled trials, risk of bias assessment tool, this is also shortly called as ROB 2.0. You will be using this tool. This tool is available on the website, and there is a guideline for this, how to use this tool, because risk assessment is also a long topic. It can take 2, 3, 4 hours for one single tool. So this is just an overview and introduction. Yes, Khadija. Yes, yes, you're very right. We will use Newcastle-Ottawa scale for observational studies. We have different variations of this Newcastle-Ottawa scale. Like we have a tool for cross-sectional studies for case control and cohort studies. Like we have three variations. Depending upon the including type of included studies, we will use certain tools. There is Robbins one for non-randomized studies. Uh, they ensure reliability of the results. If the studies are of good quality, the results are more reliable and more generalizable. So this is how this is what we get when we are doing the risk of bias. So there are different domains for each tool. This is for ROB 2.0. You can see if there is a no risk of bias, it means low risk in that domains. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 studies. So this is for study one. This is risk of study one, and this is risk for domain one. So if the random sequence generation is given in the study, it has low risk. If it's not explicitly mentioned, uh, and like it's vaguely mentioned, it's of unclear low risk, and if it's not mentioned at all, that's high risk. If the studies have high risk, it means that the studies are of poor quality. If studies are of poor quality, our results are even significant, they are not reliable. Then we have allocation, concealment, blinding, incomplete, selective reporting outcomes. So these are different domains, subdomains of risk assessment. So you can get to know all these in the tools available on the respective websites. There are a lot of other YouTube videos that are available, so you can watch these videos as well. This is a traffic light plot for risk of bias assessment tool 2.0. And this is table for Newcastle Ottawa scale rating. So you can see there are three domains in Newcastle Ottawa scale: selection, comparability, and outcome. And then we have different subdomains like representativeness, selection of non-exposed group ascertainment. So these are like difficult uh, terms for the beginners, but you can learn them thoroughly on YouTube. There are a lot of long videos, like even playlists on a single uh, tools. So you should learn these tools. This is just for introduction. So now we'll get into how we'll perform and understand or interpret the meta-analysis. So in meta-analysis, we combine the different effects, the data in the form of effect measure that is different for the different types of outcomes. So we broadly classify outcomes into two types. As I discussed earlier, like we have dichotomous outcomes and we have continuous outcomes. Dichotomous outcomes having one of the two possibilities, like mortality, like the person would be dead or not. The If you give an exam, you will pass or fail. And if it's a drug and we got a relapse or non-relapse and getting adverse event or not. So having one of the possibility from two, this is called dichotomous outcomes. And the other types of outcomes in meta-analysis are continuous outcomes. This is like length of stay, like lab values of AST, ALT, troponins, left ventricular outflow tract, then we have ejection fraction, we have GFR, etc. So these are values. They have any value between minus and positive in the both sides of zero. These are not whole numbers. They have points in them. Like length of hospital stay could be 1.1 day, 2 day, 3 days. So they have they are reported in the form of mean and standard deviation. And this data is reported in the form of events and total in both groups. So which effect measures we will be using when we will be performing analysis? We have odds ratio, risk ratio, and relative risk difference for dichotomous outcomes, and we have mean difference and standardized mean difference, the effect measures that calculate the overall impact of all the studies uh, for a given outcome. So when you are performing an analysis, if the included studies have reported dichotomous outcomes, you will use either odds ratio or risk ratio. You can use risk difference depending upon like the situation. And for continuous outcome, you will be using mean difference or standardized mean difference. So mean difference is used when you have the data reported in same units. If the data is reported in different units, you will be using standardized mean difference. Odds ratio is preferred when you have observational studies, and risk ratio is preferred when you have randomized control trials as included studies. And we have two different models, like random effects model and fixed effect model. Someone said to use random effects model. So in 99.9% cases, you will be using random effects model. The concept behind that is when you have zero heterogeneity, 0% heterogeneity, like I square value is 0%, you will use fixed effect model. But ideally, we don't have that amount of heterogeneity. So we always use random effects model. uh, when we have the studies conducted by same physicians on same patients, the drug is same, everything is same, and there are different phases of that trial. When we'll have 0% heterogeneity, then we can use fixed effect models. But if the trials are conducted by different physicians on different patients across the world, then you will be using random effects model. So the take home message is always use random effects model in RevMan or Review Manager. So far we have discussed the basis of analysis and how will we proceed with that. Let me know in the chat box, thumbs up if you are with me till now. We have three thumbs up, three yes from so far. I think this is the difficult slide. Tibian is with us. Can you explain? Marwa will be using a random effects model. That's all. Uh, Fixed effect model is used when the studies are conducted by same physicians on same patients in the same area, like the same location, same hospital setting, same physicians and same patients at different time points. So they have zero heterogeneity. We will be using fixed effect models for these type of meta-analysis. But we never have such studies that are like two, three, four studies that are conducted on same population. We have trials that are conducted across the world. So when the trials are conducted across the world, we have heterogeneity due to genetics, different defective study design, are different patients, different physicians, everything. If there is any difference between the methodology or the clinical baselines of the patients, there would be heterogeneity. So we always use random effects model. Got my point, Dr. Marwa, or not? We have a question from Isa. What is risk ratio and risk difference? The difference between risk of treatment and control is called risk difference, and the ratio between risk in the treatment and risk in the control is called the risk ratio. So risk difference is used when we have like the risk factors and we want to see the difference between the diseases on the risk factors, we use that. When we have adverse events, we use risk ratio. It, for better interpretation, they are uh, we can use them reciprocally, but due to their easier interpretation, we use risk ratio. Risk ratio, risk basically, risk means it is the ratio of events over total number of events. Events over total is risk, and odds is called events over non-events. So, like the probability of an event to occur over a number of events, like we had total 100 patients and 10 of them died, the risk for the mortality is 2 by 10, like 1 over 5. Every one patient from 5 patients will die. And if we are calculating the odds, that would be events over non-events, like 20 mortalities over 80. So we have 1 over 4. Like the one patient will get the event and four patients will survive. So when we calculate this, we get different values like 0.2 for the risk and 0. We have 2.5 for that. It's so when so they have like different interpretations in that. For the risk ratio, we calculate the software automatically calculates the risk for the event in the events and risk in the control, and then it divides and we get the risk ratio. And similarly, odds ratio. They are same thing, but there are some certain statistical aspects. We are not going into that. So let's move forward. What is this? Have you ever seen this type of plot? Yes, 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 excellent. So this is a forest plot. This is what we get as a result of meta-analysis. Uh, it reflects the risk ratio, the effects, and then we have these blue boxes, we have lines, we have diamond. So all these things have some certain meaning. So first we'll dissect different sections. We have 3, 4 different sections. Like these indicate the included studies. This is effect estimates that we discussed earlier, like risk ratio, odds ratio, the random or fixed effect models. Then we have confidence intervals, and it reflects the overall statistics and heterogeneity that is calculated by the software. And then this is the visual representation, and this is called the forest plot. So this forest plot depicts the effect measure. Like if you are using odds ratio, it will show you the odds ratio. The models, this is inverse variance statistical method, random or fixed effect models. Then we have the confidence interval limit, that's 95%. This is called effect measure, and this reflects a random or fixed effect model. Then you can see this is called line of no effect. If anything, then if any of the line is touching that, it means that there is no difference between two groups regarding it's neither superior nor inferior, they are equal. uh, and what is meaning by this line and this the box? The box stands for the size. If the sample size is greater, the box will be bigger, and if the sample size is less, the box will be smaller. And the line is called 95% confidence interval. If you have small sample, 95% confidence interval in simple terms mean precision. If you have small sample size, you will have less precision, and if you have less precision, you will have longer 95% confidence interval. It means that your true effect could be here, either it 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 could be here. Like this is your effect size. It could lie here and here in this line. If the sample size is great, you can see the line, the confidence interval line is smaller. Like if you have narrow confidence interval limit and bigger sample size, your data is more precise, your results are more reliable, and your data is more generalizable. This is why we use to include the studies with big sample sizes. Do you mean by that should not be Khadija zero? Can you explain little bit? So this the diamond reflects the overall effect. These are the study having their smaller effect, and this is if we combine this and we get this overall effect size, and this is called diamond. If it's on this side, it's favoring this intervention, and if it's on this side, it favors the control or treatment. Likewise. Oh yes, 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 Khadija. So this is overall odds ratio, and this is the confidence interval limit for that. This is the net effect, and this is its 95% confidence interval limit. So if your risk ratio is greater than 1, it means that your treatment is better. If your risk ratio is less than 1 and 95% confidence interval limit is also not touching the line of no effect, this line, like it should be either here or this side. It should not touch this line in the uh, like uh, the slightest. So the forest plot is far away from the line and its risk ratio is greater than 1. It means that all these studies are favoring the treatment. If the risk ratio is less than 1, then the treatment option is inferior to the control. And if the risk ratio and 95% confidence interval is touching 1, it means that this is line of no effect. If it's touching, if let's suppose the forest plot, suppose this forest plot is touching the line of no effect. This forest plot is here. So there will be no difference between these two groups. If the forest plot is here on this side, it means that the value of risk is greater than 1. It means that the treatment option has more probability of getting that event. And if it's here, the risk ratio is less than 1 and 95, it's not touching the line of no effect like this. So it means that the control is better. The treatment is inferior in getting the probability of that events. And if it's touching line of no effect, then there is no difference between two groups. There is a similar interpretation for the odds ratio. And if you have a mean difference, like if your mean difference is in the positive, it could be in positive and it could be in the negative value as well. And if it's touching the zero mean difference, then there will be no difference between two groups. If it's a positive value, that it means that it's favoring the treatment and there is a significant increase in certain like it could be time, it could be AST, ALT value like ejection fraction. So if the main difference between ejection fraction is positive, it means that there is increase in ejection fraction in the treatment group. If it's a negative value, it means that there is overall decrease in ejection fraction. And if it's touching the line of no effect or zero, it means that there is no difference between ejection fraction for the drug in the two groups. All right. This was little bit difficult, but it needs another separate lecture for the interpretation of meta-analysis. And I tried to explain in the simplest way. Let me know in the chat box. Show thumbs up if you're with me. So far, we have one thumbs up from Isa. So let's move forward. So what are different softwares that are used for analysis? Yes, Dr. Nadia, this is the introduction. So if we plan with the RPO for next collaboration, we will be doing some softwares like we will have session on this and refinement and interpretation of meta-analysis as well. So there are different softwares that are used for different types of analysis. This is the logo of Revman or Review Manager. This is one of the most commonly used softwares. This is from Cochrane Collaboration. Then we have Meta Excel. This is Open Meta Analyst. This is an R-based tool. So if you want to do analysis using R, but you don't know the coding, you can use Open Meta Analyst. It is an open source, like freely available tool. And we have Meta Excel, that is an extension of Excel, adds on for Excel. You can perform analysis, meta analysis on Excel, but it's an old way. We prefer Revman. Then we have a software. This is called Jamovi. Jamovi is another excellent software for that. Jamovi is also based on R script. So we have R Studio. If you want to do analysis using coding, you can do on R Studio. there is another paid software that is called comprehensive meta-analysis. So each software has its own pros and cons, but for majority, okay. So when we are done with doing analysis, okay. Can you hear me now? Let me know in the chat box if I'm audible. Yes, Momina. Yes, so when we are done with analysis, we will start writing. So what are the different standards that we will be using for that? We have Prisma preferred reporting items for systematic reviews and meta-analysis. This is a checklist by Cochrane collaboration. It includes the headings, subheadings, items that should be included in the meta-analysis. And then if we want to assess the quality or grade of the outcomes, quality of the strength of the evidence, we will use grade assessment. This is a tool, but we always report our findings according to Prisma checklist. It is recommended, and most of the journals require that as well. Then there are different parts of manuscript like abstract, introduction, methods, discussion, and references. The abstract should be 250 to 300 words. It should be structured for meta-analysis. It should have four sections like introduction, methods, results, and discussion, which is also called conclusion. So it should follow the pattern. Then we will have introduction that could be 300 to 400 words that will give us the background to it should give the background of the population intervention and why we are doing this meta-analysis. Then the methods, the recipe, how we search the databases, how we extracted the data, what is inclusion and exclusion criteria, how we perform the analysis. So all these things are part of methods. And I have skipped the results section. So there is a results section in which we will explain all the forest plots, and then we will interpret and discuss, compare and contrast in the discussion section. Each segment in the introduction, in the discussion should be backed by a peer-reviewed article, and we should like give its reference as well. So if we are done with writing a manuscript, we will choose a journal for the submission. There are where to publish. There are different types of journals, like we have open access journals, hybrid and closed access journals. Open access journals in which the authors have to pay, and in the subscription based models, you have choice either author to pay, and you can opt a subscription model. So there are different journals finders. How we will find the journals? Uh, we have a dedicated journal finders by Elsewhere, Wiley, Springer. We have a Jane journal author name estimator. So these are excellent free tools you can use. You will just, of course, Bashma, there is a slide for that as well, for the resources for you. You will be searching using your title and abstract to search the relevant journals on these websites like Elsewhere Journal Finder, Wiley, and Springer Journal Finder. When you will search these, you will get the websites. Just paste your abstract and titles. It will show a long list of relevant journals. You will read up their scopes. What things you will consider? You will consider strength of your studies, and then the similar studies published in that and impact factor are indexed. And the journal should have an impact factor. It should be indexed in Medline's Focus on Web of Science, and there should be similar studies published on in that journal. So you can open the journal website. check the impact factor time to first decision. Like this is important for submission as well. What is time for the first decision, and the review process and the publication cost, which is called APCs. And acceptance rates. There some of the journals give their acceptance rates as well, like time for first decisions as well. So here are we are done with systematic review and meta-analysis. There are certain tips and tricks and certain suggestions for you. So if you have any query till now regarding systematic review, you can post it in chat box. We'll move towards if you want to read books and learn more about meta-analysis, there are certain suggestions for you. These are freely available and you can download these books. No, it's like SAF, it's like a red flag thing. If a journal has an impact factor but it's not indexed, it means that it's a predatory. You have to check if it's affiliated with any certain specific uh, publisher like Springer, Elsewhere, Taylor and Francis, and other publishers. You have to check the website if it's affiliated or not. You can check it if it's listed on directory of open access journals or not. So this thing is very important. Publish some of the journals, they publish all type of articles, even if it gets a DOI, but these journals are predatory, so they sometimes charges a lot of amount from the authors, and literally they copy the articles they publish by their names. So we have to avoid these journals. uh, Cochrane Handbook for Systematic Reviews of Interventions, Introduction to Meta-Analysis and Finding What Works in Healthcare, Standards for Systematic Reviews. These are amazing books if you want to read. Then which socials should be used as a researcher? One of the great social media tool. Then we have ResearchGate, X, and Google Scholar. You should make your accounts on ResearchGate, LinkedIn, and Google Scholar, and make your social presence as well. Connect with fellows, connect with senior researchers, and approach them for like collaboration, for guidance, and get them connected with that. A lot of research opportunities are usually posted on LinkedIn, on like X, so you can get collaborations from these as well. You can make your Orchid account as well. This is another great tool for you. There are some courses for you. These are from the Coursera. If you want to do courses, if you want to learn in depth about theoretical things, this is on theory of meta-analysis. This is not the practical course. So if you want to learn the theories of Introduction to Meta-Analysis, you can learn from Introduction to Meta-Analysis by Johns Hopkins University on Coursera. Then if you want to improve your writing, Basma, this is for you. If you want to improve your writing, all type of writing, not for systematic review and meta-analysis, like how to write abstract, how to write introduction, methods, results, how to make figures, how to write legends, how to submit, and which things journals consider and editor considers for publication of your article. So these are amazing courses. This is from Stanford University. Even you can get a certificate. We have another amazing course, Understanding Clinical Research Behind the Stats. If you want to learn basics of stats, this is for you, University of Cape Town. Then have R programming if you want to learn programming and learn how to use R and R Studio, you can use these courses. So there are certain people you can follow. They usually post about research, about AI, about tools, about tips and tricks. So you can follow them. You can take a screenshot of this as well. You can follow me as well on LinkedIn, on ResearchGate. They usually post good content. There are a lot of other people as well. Thank you so much for your patient listening. This is all from my side. You have been a great listener. So hats off to you all for being here with me for 1.5 hours. You will, Marwa, this is for you. I have one question on risk of bias assessment. Which tool used for cross-sectional studies? Newcastle Ottawa scale. This is recommended tool for cross-sectional study. There is another scale. This is called GBI tool. This is Joanna Briggs risk of assessment tool. Thank you so much, Khadija. Thank you so much, Dr. Osman, Nahul, Haifa. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Basma. Jazakallah Bamina. Faiza, Isra, thank you so much. Abdul Rahman, Tayyab, Banaris, Soya, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, Fatima. Yes, thank you so much. You're welcome, Patrick. You're welcome, Solafa. Welcome, Tuval Nazir. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. We have Abrar, we have Anas. So we have no more queries. Anas, if there are questions from YouTube, can you please read it for me? Jazakallah. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Dalia.
Okay, Dr. Muhammad, I have some questions here.
Yes, please read.
Okay, the first question is there a guide to show quality of my systematic reviews as a checklist to show quality of my systematic review?
First, if you have a meta-analysis, you will be using Prisma checklist. This is a checklist that will help you which components your meta-analysis should have. And if you want to assess the quality of included studies, there are a lot of tools, like if you are including randomized control trial, there is a ROB tool. If you are cross-sectional case control studies, you have Newcastle Ottawa scale, and there are other tools as well. There is a JBI tool. We have Robbins. We have a lot more tools. So these are checklists. They have a lot big guides, including the signaling questions and scale for quality assessment. So you can rely on these two checklists.
Okay. If I didn't get any clinical trials or clinical trials, can I use abstracts in my systematic reviews?
Excuse me, Anas, can you please repeat it? Because there was disruption in the voice.
Okay. Can I use conference abstract as a clinical trials? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, Anas, there was disruption in voice. Can you please repeat the question again?
Can I use conference abstracts in my systematic reviews?
It depends upon your inclusion and exclusion criteria. If the abstracts have enough data, you can include. If there is no data in the abstract, you can exclude. But ideally, the abstract should not be excluded. It should not be included in that because they are just abstracts, and they are usually gone through a very gentle peer review process, because most of the conferences tend to publish more and more abstracts. So it is not recommended to include abstracts. If the abstract is published in a very reputable journal and it has a lot of data, like enough data for supporting your meta-analysis, you can include it. I have personally included 2-3 abstracts in one of my papers, but it has tables and figures.
Okay. What should be extracted from RCTs when incoming in data extraction phase?
First, we should extract study characteristics like author information. Then we'll extract the baseline characteristics. Every trial has a very big table for baseline characteristics. So you will be like extracting the important data from this baseline and the outcomes that are clinically related to the drug and its safety and efficacy. So you will be extracting all this data. It depends upon your data. You have to read the papers carefully, and if the data in papers is aligning, it's somewhat similar and same, uh, that could be combined in a meta-analysis.
Okay. How to test my internal validity and how to check my systematic error if there a systematic error.
These are risk of bias assessment tools. So you will check the internal validity of your findings using different risk assessment tools. So they will quantify the overall effects, overall quality of the included studies. So you can, if there is a high risk of bias, it means that the studies lack internally, they have some inherent issues in them. The studies are not that reliable, so that will affect your overall reliability of the outcomes and their generalizability. So risk assessment tools basically assess the quality of the included studies and test their validity.
Okay. When I searching, if I found author version and journal version, which one shall I include in my systematic review?
If the article is same by the same authors in different journals, so and there could be some different versions of articles like clinical trials. They are usually published at different intervals, like 1 year results, 2 year results, interim analysis, and secondary analysis. So you will be including the latest data in your meta-analysis, and if the article is same, you will be using the latest and having comprehensive data, like having one having more data.
Okay. What are the criteria used to measure the weight of the study?
Again,
what are the criteria used to measure the weight of the study?
uh, there is no criteria to measure the weight of the studies. The weight is determined by the softwares. They assign the weight depending upon the sample size and events, etc. So it's calculated by the software. Weight is assigned randomly to the studies depending upon their sample size.
Okay, what mean of mesh term?
Mesh term stands for medical subject heading. This is a controlled vocabulary. Like this is there is a special dictionary, special words for the diseases and drugs. This is called mesh terms. Each database has like uniform set. Like there might be variations of disease name or drug name across the words. So they have a standardized vocabulary. This is called mesh term, medical subject heading. So this is a set of words. It's a specified scientific vocabulary for searching the data on databases.
Okay. What is the heterogeneity and what are the differences between fixed effect model and random effect model?
Heterogeneity is the differences in the study in the simplest terms that could arise from the statistical method, that could arise from that could be clinical heterogeneity, that could be statistical heterogeneity, and that could be like there are three different types of heterogeneity. Simply means that how much studies are different among themselves. If you are combining like apples and oranges, like different studies, you will get higher heterogeneity. If you have studies having 100% same FICO criteria, fulfilling the inclusion and exclusion, and a thorough search strategy with careful screening and data extraction, there will be like less or no heterogeneity. And random effects model, these are statistical models. When you have zero heterogeneity, means that the study is conducted by same physicians on same patients. You will be using fixed effect models. Otherwise, you will be using random effects model. Uh, the golden principle is that you will always use random effects model.
Okay, does unpublished study can influence my systematic reviews?
What again? Can you please repeat it?
Does unpublished study can influence my systematic reviews if
Uh,
that have a
if,
weight in my
yes,
in searching studies?
if you have less published data, you can include unpublished data. Even you can take the data from the authors of the clinical trial that is not published, but the data should be credible. You can include it, and you can mention a strong reason for that as well. So that's acceptable. You can do that in your meta-analysis.
Okay, what the mean of null hypothesis?
This is like not the scope of that. This is like this question is not related to our because we don't have that information regarding that. That's not useful in meta-analysis. So some will discuss some other times in biostats module inshallah.
Okay, thank you. I don't have further questions.
So we have two questions from Zoom. One is from Basma. How to make sure if my idea of systematic view is relevant or not? Read. I would say read as much as you can. Subscribe email alerts of different journals. You will get the articles, latest articles published in that, so you can have an idea about what's going on the clinical world and clinical trials. So that will give you a better idea. Thank you. You're welcome. Will there be recording? Yes, it's being played live on YouTube, and RPO Research Publication Office will be providing you the recordings as well. As that's all. We are done with questions. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Research Publication Officer, Dental Association Alumni, Troy University. Thank you so much, Anas, for hosting this amazing. And thank you so much, amazing team behind this. Jazakumullah khairan. Sadaqallahu al-azim. Wa ma alayna illa al-balagh.
Thank,
Hafiz.
thank you very much, Dr. Muhammad. As I conclude this workshop, I would sincerely thank you, Dr. Muhammad, for your time and dedication to teaching. Also, I have a very grateful to you all attendees. Your engagement made this session truly meaningful. We are proud the energy of curiosity you brought. I want to announce that this is not the end. We will be announcing a practical session very soon where you will get hands-on experience with the real tools and data. Stay tuned for updates. On behalf of the Research and Publication Office at Career University, thank you once again. This officially closes our workshop. See you soon.